The week of October 13th on General Hospital kicks off with explosive tension, emotional crossfire, and shocking manipulation that threatens to tear already fragile relationships apart. In this wild ride through Port Charles, Drew Kane tries to take control in a way that shocks even his closest allies. Willow is cornered into an emotional trap she never saw coming, and Trina and Kai begin playing detective, uncovering secrets that could turn the entire city upside down. From Ferncliff fears to forbidden romance and shattered trust, this episode is packed with everything fans love about General Hospital. Moral dilemmas, emotional manipulation, and a web of lies that even the best detectives might not untangle in time. Let's dive into the full 4,000-word breakdown of what's ahead in Port Charles. Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson, has always been known as the good guy, the man who does what's right, who protects his loved ones, and who never crosses certain lines. But the Drew we see on October 13th is not the same man who once risked his life for Sam, or who built Aurora Media from the ground up with integrity. The trauma of recent months, his imprisonment, his rage over Nina, Cynthia Watras, and his deep-seated resentment toward Michael, Chad Duell, has transformed him into someone darker, more calculating. Drew's latest plan? To manipulate Willow, Caitlin McMullen, emotionally in order to get what he wants, control over her actions and access to her loyalty. In a quiet but tension-filled scene at the Quatermain mansion, Drew sits down with Willow, speaking to her in a calm, almost gentle tone. He reminds her of everything she's survived, the leukemia, the transplant, the lies from Nina, and how she's stronger now than she realizes. But beneath his supportive tone lies something far more sinister. "You can't let people use your kindness against you, Willow," Drew says smoothly. "Not even Michael. Sometimes the only way to protect your family is to take control of it." Willow doesn't understand what he means, at first. But Drew's manipulation begins to twist her guilt and insecurity into obedience. He tells her that Michael is slipping, that his obsession with Sonny, Maurice Bernard, and Carly, Laura Wright, could cost them everything. And that's when Drew drops the real bomb. He wants Willow to convince Michael to step down from ELQ's board and focus on family. It sounds innocent enough, until Willow realizes this would hand Drew full control of the company. Her shock is evident. Her conscience screams against it. But Drew has a way of making things sound reasonable. By the end of the scene, Willow's eyes are filled with uncertainty, torn between her loyalty to her husband and her fragile trust in Drew, the man who once helped save her life. After Drew leaves, Willow's composure begins to crack. Alone in the Quatermain kitchen, she stares at the family portrait, Michael, Wiley, Amelia, and wonders how everything has become so complicated. There was a time she believed in honesty, forgiveness, and healing. But now, everything feels tainted by secrecy and manipulation. Carly enters just in time to sense that something's wrong. But Willow, determined to protect everyone else, insists she's fine. Carly, being Carly, doesn't buy it. "You're shaking," Carly notes softly. "Who got to you, Willow?" When Carly presses harder, Willow nearly confides in her, but stops short. The look in Carly's eyes reminds her of something Drew said earlier. Carly's too impulsive. She'll ruin everything if she knows too much. So Willow does what Drew wants. She stays silent. But silence doesn't mean peace. As the day goes on, Willow finds herself haunted by Drew's words and by a growing sense that she's being pulled into a power struggle she doesn't understand. When Michael later calls from the office, his distracted tone only deepens her anxiety. By the time evening arrives, Willow's unease turns into panic. She imagines Drew turning on her if she doesn't comply. Or worse, exposing some dark truth she doesn't yet know. And then there's Nina. In one of the episode's most dramatic moments, Nina walks into the Metro Court uninvited, just as Drew is finishing a private meeting with his attorney. The tension is palpable. These two haven't shared a calm moment since the sex scandal blew up their lives. "You really should thank me, Drew," Nina says coolly. "If I hadn't exposed Carly, you'd still be sitting in Pentonville." Drew's eyes darken. "Don't flatter yourself," he growls. "You destroyed your own daughter's peace for nothing." Their conversation is venomous but laced with underlying regret. For a brief second, Nina seems almost vulnerable, hinting that she's been receiving threats. But before Drew can question her further, she vanishes into the crowd, leaving behind a cryptic remark. "You're not the only one who knows how to use Willow." That one line haunts Drew for the rest of the episode, and sets up a dangerous collision between them later in the week. While Drew plays his corporate mind games, another mystery unfolds on the other side of Port Charles. Trina Robinson, Tabyana Ali, and Kai Jordan, Keenan and Lonsdale, take center stage in a storyline that's part detective thriller, part emotional reckoning. After the recent incident involving stolen WSB files and a mysterious explosion near the docks, Trina refuses to believe it's a coincidence. She's been through enough Cassadine drama to know when something doesn't add up. When she confides her suspicions to Kai, the young WSB recruit immediately offers to help. Together, they form an unlikely but magnetic partnership. Their chemistry crackles, not just romantically, but intellectually. Trina has the artistic intuition, Kai has the tactical training. And together, they begin piecing together a web of clues that points toward something far bigger than either expected. They start at the Port Charles Art Museum, reviewing security footage from the night of the explosion. What they find sends chills down Trina's spine, a shadowy figure moving through the archives minutes before the blast. It's not Brennan. It's not Valentin. And it's definitely not anyone from the PCPD. The frame catches only part of a face, but Kai freezes it, enhancing the image with WSB software. The outline looks familiar, horrifyingly familiar. That's impossible, Trina whispers. He's supposed to be dead. The implication? Someone from Trina's past, possibly tied to the Cassadines or the WSB, is back in Port Charles, and they've been watching her. As Trina reels from the discovery, Kai makes a shocking confession. He's not just helping the WSB, he's been secretly assigned to monitor Drew's movements. Trina is stunned. You've been spying on Drew, she asks. Kai nods reluctantly. I didn't want to lie to you. But there's chatter about a covert asset in Port Charles, someone the Bureau believes is feeding insider information about ELQ to international bidders. Trina's eyes widen. You think Drew's involved? Kai doesn't answer directly, but his silence speaks volumes. This revelation puts Trina in a dangerous position. She's close to both Drew and Willow, and now she's caught between loyalty and truth. But one thing is certain, she's not backing down. By the end of the day, she tells Kai she wants in, officially. Together, they vow to uncover the truth, even if it means exposing people they care about. Back at the office, Michael feels increasingly isolated. The walls of deception are closing in around him. Willow's secret anxiety, Drew's growing power grab, and his mother's unspoken fear that everything is about to fall apart. When he tries to reach Willow again, she dodges his calls, making him paranoid that something, or someone, is influencing her. He decides to take a page from his father's playbook. Michael reaches out to Brick, Stephen A. Smith, and asks for intel on Drew's current activities. Brick's reaction is priceless, a slow smirk and a simple, "You sure you want to play this game, kid?" By the end of the episode, Michael is all in, ready to spy on his own business partner to protect his family. Meanwhile, Jocelyn, Eden McCoy, and Dex, Evan Hofer, share a rare quiet moment at Kelly's. With all the chaos surrounding Michael, Drew, and Sunny, they find comfort in each other's company. But even their brief peace is tainted by tension. Dex still hasn't fully recovered from the guilt of betraying Sunny, and Jocelyn fears history is repeating itself, secrets, lies, and dangerous choices that could get them both killed. When Joss mentions that Trina's been acting secretive lately, Dex becomes suspicious. Could Trina's investigation somehow tie back to Sunny or the WSB? It's a small moment, but one that hints at how the storylines may soon collide. Ava Jerome, Maura West, shows up at Carly's house unannounced, something she rarely does unless she's genuinely concerned. You need to watch Drew, Ava warns. He's not the man you think he is. Carly initially dismisses it as another manipulative jab, but Ava's sincerity catches her off guard. Ava claims she overheard Drew making a call about restructuring ELQ and using the Quartermain widow to do it. Carly freezes. Widow? That can only mean Tracy. Or maybe Willow, in a symbolic sense. Ava's warning sets off alarm bells in Carly's mind. She's not ready to believe Drew is capable of manipulation, but deep down, she knows the man she once loved has been growing darker ever since his release from Pentonville. As night falls over Port Charles, the tension hits a breaking point. Willow meets Drew at the Quartermain stables to give him her answer. She tries to sound calm, but her voice shakes. "I can't do what you're asking," she says quietly. Michael deserves to know the truth. Drew's expression changes. The charm fades, and for the first time, his eyes harden with cold fury. "Then you're not just betraying me," he says softly. "You're betraying yourself." Before Willow can respond, Drew walks away into the shadows, his phone lighting up with an incoming call from an unknown number. The screen flashes a single name, Agent Jordan, WSB. Meanwhile, across town, Trina and Kai return to the art museum to follow up on their lead, only to find the security room trashed and the computer with the footage missing. Kai curses under his breath. They are one step ahead of us. As the lights flicker and go out, Trina whispers, "Kai, we're not alone." A figure emerges from the darkness, and the screen fades to black.